You
Yep.
should be good to go. Let's see. Yeah, we live, fellas. So now, man, like wanted to let me see. What you laughing at, boy?
I need me a glass before we blast off.
Go ahead real quick.
All right. Real quick.
Real quick, man. Don't do no lemonade ice cubes and all that other shit.
Hey, listen, brother. All that good stuff I ain't got to do tonight. Keep it raw and funky.
Kanye West and what was the other topic, Steve?
Mase and Diddy and they beef.
Right, that the Mase and Diddy, and then Kanye.
Yeah, just Kanye and this whole controversy right now. What's going on with the White Lives Matter, and
Right. Was it one more, or that was it?
That's it. That's it. I think shit, they more than enough to touch on. Quite honestly. This episode of Beats, Bars, and Bourbon is brought to you by
Lush with a brush.
Shea butter like whoa. You know what I mean? It's like, nah. Shout out my man Terry, man. So look, boy, you good?
Mm-hmm.
So I figure the first thing we can start on, which has been, I mean, either subject has been really news crazy over the last 48 hours. First thing we can touch on is the Mase and Diddy beef that's going on right now. I mean, this isn't a new beef. It's been going on for over 20 years, but, understandably so, Mase still hot about the way Diddy did him, right? And I mean, and from my novice experience with seeing the way artists get dragged, 360 deals, all this other kind of stuff, Mase was just subjected to what so many other artists in the hip hop industry and the industry in general, music industry, has been subjected to, and that's just not being, taken care of. He was the creative, he was the talent, he was the artist, did more than just his music, wrote for Puffy.
Yeah, I'm about to say he was also the pen for Diddy.
Yeah, the pen. I mean, and a lot of respect, probably served A&R roles. A lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? But just the kind of level set, as of a recent situation, I know Puffy, when he accepted that Icon Award, that was in like 2020, I believe. He spoke about how the Grammys never respected Black artists and this and that, Black excellence, this and that. And Diddy, and Mase came out and he was like, stop playing, man. Like, you respect the Black artists. You know what I mean? You pretty much own my publishing for 20 plus years, and I offered you $2 million in cash to get my shit back, and you told me basically I got to match an offer from some European guy or get it when I'm 50. Like, all of that type of stuff is why he's still hot under the collar. You know what I mean?
Right.
And most recently is Diddy essentially tried. I know I haven't seen the interview with the Breakfast Club. I'm gonna check it out. But I know he had spoke about how, like, these artists that feel that he deprived them or robbed them.
Diddy asked to show receipts, and Mace's response was, your mother has those receipts. Your mother has owned the publishing companies. It's been in her name for some time, for some years now. Now, only light I want to shed to kind of fill in is Diddy at one time had a roster of Craig Mack, Puffy, Mase, Lox, Total, Paul Thomas. I mean, we
Black
naming
Rob.
some Black Rob. We naming
Biggie.
some big. We naming some big boys. And all I'm saying is, where are those artists now that are still alive? You know, some of them lived to tell the story. Some of them didn't live to tell the story. But I'm quite sure there's some stories that need to be told, man. And I
Now,
think Mase is the forefront of it's time to let people know what's really going on.
now, Diddy did say in that interview, because I did look at the interview, Diddy said that what happens is artists get to a point in their career where essentially they're not making no noise no more. And then they start crying and trying to blame other people for their lack of success. And for whatever reason, I was robbed, he was stealing my money, he was stealing my publishing. Now they start artists essentially start crying over spilled milk when they're no longer successful. So that was Diddy's defense. I just wanted to put that out there, that's what he said. And he said that he's never robbed nobody or stole anything from anybody over the course of his time on earth, is what he said.
Well, I mean, obviously that's false when it comes to the Locks and Mase, right? The Locks basically fought to get out their deal in the streets.
Yes, they did. Yes,
had
they
a lot
did.
to do with making that happen. Like, he had to let them out their deal. They were still super hot. And Mase was still jamming. You know what I mean? It's almost like he walked away from music was because he felt so betrayed, mismanaged, and manhandled. You know what I mean? But Mase said something that resonated, man. I'm like, you right, Brandon. You mentioned Total and other artists like Loon and Carl Thomas, like, really haven't heard from them. But Puffy also got a roster of artists that like have passed away. Like, I thought about that too. Like, damn, Black Rob, Craig Mack, Biggie. Like, I know Biggie was young. His was obviously, for lack of a better way to put it, it was premature. You know what I mean? He wasn't even at the pinnacle of his success. At the time of his demise.
With the Biggie thing, though, like I'm kind of obsessed with Biggie and Tupac's murders. So I look at all of this different content on it. And Gene Deal talked about how when they went to LA, nobody felt like that was a good idea.
Right.
Except Diddy. It was Tupac dying was too fresh. The wounds were too fresh. They knew that it was dangerous in LA. They were told by several people in LA when they got to LA,
don't come out here.
Don't come out here, or when they got there, don't go outside like that. Go to whatever events you got to go to and go to your hotel and basically keep a low profile. So they were told that, but Diddy, because I guess he got this feeling of invincibility, was like, gonna be out here, we're gonna do what we do. We bad boy. And I just feel like that situation. So even to your point, Steve, even that situation with Biggie dying has Puffy's fingerprints on it, so to speak.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, bro. I mean, I don't want to throw mud on Diddy's name, but it's just too much freaking death around him. The situation with Shine and him going to jail, doing that, it felt like he did a bit for that man. You understand what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing that they cool now that Shine is home and all, but it's a lot of death around him, a lot of imprisonment.
It's a lot of sleazeball tendencies when it comes to Puffy, man. Like, even with Steve Harvey's daughter, and who used to mess with his son, and then him having a little situation, and I'm like, then the whole thing with so that's sleazeball. And then, no disrespect to, what's her name, Young Miami or something, and she got a podcast now, but how in the hell did she tie with Drink Champs for best podcast? She got like 5 episodes or something. Like, are you serious? And I know they both on Revolt, but and Charlamagne actually pressed them out a little bit about that too. Charlamagne the God pressed them out a little bit on that too.
Yeah, hey, listen.
He did.
His money it's money make a few things shake, bro. I know you guys saw. I don't know if y'all did, but the BET Hip Hop Awards came on last night, and yo, it was some pretty good acts in there, man. And I don't know how Diddy's son got in there, man. You know, I really
Yeah.
don't know how he got in that lineup, but Diddy money speaks, and I guess with Revolt having a multimedia thing, he's able to make some of them things happen, man. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, I you know what the thing is none of us know exactly what's going on with them and what the history is with him and his relationship with his artists, because we wasn't there, obviously. Mm-hmm. But what I can go by is the track record. If you got every one of these artists at some point in their career saying that Diddy robbed me.
Black
man, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Like
fire.
It can't, all of them can't be making this up.
Right.
Yo,
it's just it's beyond right now. This ain't a coincidence that you can say a series of coincidences with these artists and their feelings. These cats really just like, I really think he was probably just taking advantage of these artists, man. Like, and Mase is unafraid.
Yeah.
Because he also getting his own bag. So he like, nobody thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't need you or your money. I'm getting to the bag on my own. You know what I mean? He got the 3-Headed Monster tour with Cameron and Jadakiss right now. That's great jump on. For him, it's good publicity.
So that too, but you can't say that Mase is not relevant right now because he's marking his own territory. But I guess in the same sense, he wants to let the world know, listen, man, you did a lot of artists wrong. I mean, I'm only can go off the stories that the artist gave. Craig Mack, during a time it looked like, man, before his death, man, it looked like he just looked, I don't want to say broke or poor, man, but he just didn't look like he was well taken care of. Then he looked
used up, man.
Yeah, Black Rob, before he left, he looked used up.
Yeah.
Used up, so man.
It looks like Diddy just doesn't have that. It's ironic that he had, Puff Daddy in the family, because he just doesn't seem to have that family element to his thing. Like where if you look at certain executives, like even going back to like, say, Berry Gordy's artists were like his children. They were like, he groomed for success and he walked with them. He held their hand through their career. Quincy Jones, a lot of the same thing. I mean, coming up through hip hop, I mean, you can look at Master P. Master P was the same way.
Yeah.
You hear good things about Master P and his artists.
Them artists spoke like, yo, we had $1 million in the bank. We had a house, guns, and a car. Now,
and boy, quiet as kept, even Suge Knight. Suge Knight, generally, the majority of the artists who worked under Suge said Suge took care of them. Now, he might have had all the cars in his name or whatever. But if you look at any of them, if you look at all of the artists, I forget the lady, God rest her soul, the singer that just passed away, who did a lot of their hooks. I forget her name.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, you talk to her, you talk to Daz, you talk to Corrupt, you talk to all of them. But like they say, generally, he took care of it and he was very generous. Diddy just seems like all of them, he treated all of them like adopted stepchildren that he put in the basement when he had them out, when he take his kids outside.
What you saying? Diddy was Joe Jackson?
Dad. But then he tied him to the race and get in the house.
You said Diddy was Joe Jackson?
Diddy was Joe. He tied all the kids to the radiator.
Yeah, he just, everything about him, like he just had such a, I don't know, man, the history and everything that's in the media about Puff Daddy, aside from him getting money, has been how he's got his money. You know what I mean? Like everybody, granted, he's rich, he's wealthy, but it's always questionable how he did it. Yeah, you did it by stepping on your artist's back or using your artists, letting them write your rhymes for you, being all in their videos. It was like, that's one of the reasons why Suge Knight felt like he could stand up there and say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want your executive producers and this and that all in your videos, doing this and that, come to death row. He said it because the buzz was out about it. There's no question. I feel like Suge would have never done that if he didn't hear enough scuttlebutt that this guy was a wild boy using his artist, wanting to be more famous than his artist instead of just being somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he can't carry Quincy Jones and Berry Gordy's bags as it relates to talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a different level of their business acumen, their music, their musical genius. Puffy's not that. Puffy know how to squeeze every drip of lemon juice out of a lemon, though.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because during that debate with Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, Jermaine let it be known, you don't do what I do, bro. You don't do what I do. You don't touch these boards. You don't come up with hooks. You don't create these beats with your fingers, brother. Yeah. You buy them from people and put your name on them.
Oh, you steal them. He got issues with stealing tracks from Sting and stealing the Biggie thing from Shorty that was down in the South with his name. Like, Slim got a real, checkered past, man.
Yeah, he's an egomaniac, man. He's an egomaniac. I mean, and I just don't like the fact that he gets on these interviews and nobody checks him. Yeah, because look at that Breakfast Club interview. Charlamagne asked him. He dug in a little bit, as Charlamagne does. So he dug in a little bit, but he didn't dig in. He just asked a tough question. But then when Diddy answered, it seemed like he was a little frustrated by the nature of the Charlamagne. He didn't. Yeah, he go on. He didn't keep going. And I mean, you got to challenge him, man, because you can't just if you're saying that you didn't rob anybody over the course of your career, you've been a millionaire since you were 19 and all these other things he ran off. Okay, well, stand on that. Stand on that, and you should engage the hard questions.
Right.
See him ask the hard questions, and seems like people be a little intimidated because of
they do
politics.
Yeah, they a little apprehensive about digging deeper.
It's funny as hell you said that, because there was an incident a little while ago where Puffy called what's my guy name from New Edition, Bobby Brown, Chocolate Boy Wonder. And Pete Rock jumped out there real fast, like, look, bruh, you was around me. You know who the original you know who Chocolate Boy Wonder is. That's my name. That was my alias given in this hip hop thing. And Pete went on to express how racism is real in the industry. And Puffy might be a forerunner of racism, almost like trying to erase that guy's name and whatever he did.
Oh yeah, Brandon.
To establish that name.
It's much easier to erase one's history, especially if it's something contentious for you today. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd rather. It's almost like apologizing. You know what I mean? Like, when anyone apologizes, what you expect is contrition. You expect genuine apologies from people. But there are people who mansplain when they apologize. That's Puffy. Puffy be mansplaining. He always got a justification for why things went. There's no, you know what? I should have did a better job with these artists. Nah, he don't do any of that. There's always an explanation of why things were, like you said earlier. Oh, these artists, when they lose steam, they feel some kind of way. Nah, bro. That wasn't the case with Mase. That wasn't the case with the Locks. They weren't losing steam. What these other artists may have lost was passion because they was getting robbed. So now they heart ain't in it. So the music don't sound the same.
Man, whatever happened to Total, man? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and he said something else in that interview to the effect that he
Hey, real quick, tell us real quick. We get some just to shout them out. We got some folks that's watching with us, man, and they saying some good stuff, man. Stephen Jules Rubin, Appreciate
my
you,
guy.
home.
What's up, Steve?
Yeah,
What's
man.
up, brother?
Couple folks. So somebody said, I don't know who this young lady is. She said, Puff Daddy is a businessman. Why is he blamed for artists that didn't read the fine print? So let me just say something to that, which is a valid question. If you wasn't 19 from the streets and had no idea what you were getting yourself into, what was expected from another young black man who preaches black excellence and love and doing this together, is them showing you the way. Like, forget reading the fine print. Why would you even have the fine print in it the way you were looking to take that advantage, that type of advantage of these artists? If it's really about putting young black brothers and sisters on and showing that they get a solid, like, you didn't have to give them the bank, bro, but you could have played fair. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think sometimes people confuse the word businessman with being a shark.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they two different things. You can be a businessman and you can have integrity at the same time. Like, if I sign, I've been an artist who was signed to a contract that I didn't fully know what was going on, but the dude who signed me to the contract, my guy Tony Austin, shout out to Tony, he got me and my team of guys lawyers that were outside of his attorney. And, he was like, yo, look, I'm going to advance you money for your attorneys. They're going to show you what your contract is, the ins and outs of your contract. And then we're going to come back to the table after y'all do that with my attorneys, and we're going to make it happen. And, I thought that was a move that shows a level of integrity. If you don't come like that, if you just giving a contract and you just throwing it to something, like you said, like, these dudes is young kids from the street. They don't know. So you're taking advantage of them.
You advance these.
And that's being an opportunist. That's two different things.
Right. Yes.
Yo, Nisi says she here, man. Nisi says she here.
Hey, Nisi. What's up, baby?
Yo, I think we beat this one. You know what I mean? We beat the dead horse a little bit on this. So let's segue to another sensitive subject, but provocative nonetheless. What your boy Kanye doing, man? What's Yeezy up to right now, y'all? What's up?
Oh, man. I mean,
Kanye's up to what he's always up to. Kanye,
hey, listen,
he's just trolling as usual.
King of controversy, king of watch me, king of you need to know that I'm still around and I'm still on top of things, or I'm in the heat of things. I'm at the topic of every discussion in every salon, every barbershop. I'm the topic of discussion, period. So whenever
rhythm, but he even nicer with the algorithm.
Oh man, King algorithm. Listen, all you got to do is remember the lyric from Watch the Throne when Kanye said, "I'm about to call a paparazzi on myself." Think about that real quick. I'm about to call a paparazzi on myself. He's the king of it. He's been doing it long enough to keep your attention.
Hey, bull, time out. That was a jewel, bro.
Brother,
that was spot on. Like, for real.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he doing. Like, he trolling. He's everything's this this whole provocation. I gotta do this to get people to pay attention. It's Fashion Week, Yeezy season 9. I got fashion walk. All that. What can I do? What can I do to rub people so wrong that my name is on the front page everywhere? You know what I mean? I know what I'll do. I'll put White Lives Matter on the back of some t-shirts and have Candace Owens there with me. Let's really trigger this thing.
Come on, man.
But you know what though? Like, real talk, he got the right to do whatever he wants to do. Because if you look at the difference between what we were talking about with Diddy and what Kanye's doing, Kanye honestly is just expressing his thought. He ain't hurting nobody.
Hey, listen.
I won't say he won't. I won't say he ain't gonna say he's not hurting nobody. All right, so look, we can look at it in a few different. All of this is subjective, right?
He gets at people's.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's subjective because if you say he's hurting somebody, I can say that anybody who has any opinion is hurting somebody.
Pretty much.
Agreed.
Pretty much.
Here's my frustration with Kanye. While he's a free thinker and he can express himself, he claims to be a leader of us people. He claims to be this Messiah type, modern day Messiah, where he's like doing all of this and it's for us. And then he does something like this. And then my man double down on it. And he never takes accountability. He deflects, like he I don't know if you've seen his stories, but like I'll go look at his stories. I'm like, what is this fool talking about? He talks about not seeing his kids and where was all y'all upset with me about this t-shirt when I couldn't see my kids and when I wanted public support. Yo, you still seeking out public support. You posting screenshots of who liked said post.
Listen.
You still clout chasing and you got more clout than anybody in that we know right now.
But you have to understand the man is on medication. And I'm not going to sit here and blame the medication.
I don't think he's on it. I think he's not.
There you go. And I believe that's why wifey wanted to get away from him. She couldn't control I didn't say the monster, but couldn't control the man. Not on medication.
It ain't about controlling. I ain't even saying that. So for me, I get it. Like Kanye's super intelligent, super creative, amazing artist, amazing talent.
Super creative.
But
super creative.
He kind of give you Bama vibes. He kind of give me the Bama vibe, the goofy nigga energy. You know what I mean? Like
he been giving that energy, even when everybody was. I always felt like he was giving that energy. But you know what? The thing is I think the bigger question is why do everybody give everything he say life?
My point.
Why? Because you know why? You know why? He's such a figure, a huge figure in the culture, right? That when he does things like this and it's so extreme, it's hard not. It's like driving past a car accident.
Well, that's
you know what I mean.
We need to stop looking at the train accident. It ain't his fault because we the one who the people give it the life. We need to stop. We need to get away from this thing. It's been going on since reality TV became a thing.
Yes.
We love to peer into other people's lives. We are inherently nosy. People are inherently nosy. You want to look out the window at the kids playing in the street to see whose son is acting up instead of just letting the kids play. So we looking at Kanye West and we can't take our eyes off of him. And we need to take. Yeah. Who cares?
Because So what you basically saying is if we gave it no light or gave it no energy, where would he be?
It would just go away. Because he knows he can. He's doing everything as we know on purpose.
Say.
The algorithm is stirring the algorithm, and then he'll do that, and then he'll come out with a new shoe because he's got the algorithm stirred up already.
Right.
Boom.
But how is that's what I'm saying? Like not to play devil's advocate, but I'm going to play it. For him having the level of influence that he has, you know, why play with that? Why play with the fire? Why you touching the stove? Why you know that's a sensitive subject. Regardless of Black Lives Matter, the business entity itself didn't do what they were supposed to do or didn't do a good job of that money, 80 million or whatever it is that they receive, and let's say that they mismanaged funds or whatever. First of all, that's not the same thing as Black Lives Matter, the slogan, or you know, the reverence behind what that means. Like, don't say Black Lives Matter scam and then have White Lives Matter on your t-shirt.
That's like, the whole scam.
To me, it's like, what are you trying to evoke? What are you doing when you do that? If I get you want to be a fashion mogul.
Attention.
Right.
Attention.
I know you want to be a fashion mogul.
Attention is the number one drug, bro.
At what cost?
Attention, brother. It don't matter. It don't matter how much money you got. Sometimes you're lonely. Sometimes you're bored. Sometimes you're sick, yo.
The way I feel about it, man, can't we keep propping these people up and putting them in position and then get upset when they act the ass?
Or let you down.
People are the people whoever strategically behind the scene, as well as the fans, have put this man in position. And then now we mad that he acting like he is. This is just who he is.
What my man say, y'all said something when I say I call myself a god. Who do you think he is? I told you what I think I am. A god.
A god.
Hey, look, this the same cat that ran for president. This dude is
hey,
something.
Listen. And the mofo had a couple votes, yo. Stop playing.
Man, he had a lot of votes. Way more votes than he should have had.
He had a lot of votes, yo.
Hey, look, man, him and Donald Trump, man, they I swear they second, they first cousins.
Hey, listen, man, they each other's spirit animal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we must understand he is the king of the algorithm. And then you got junior Kanye's like 50 Cent. You got juniors. You got those who follow his lead and do what they do to stay popular, to stay relevant, and keep their movement going through the empowerment of the algorithm.
Yeah, it's a dangerous precedent, man. And you're right, B. Like, even you see it amongst young people. Young people.
My God.
And like Lauryn Hill's daughter, you peep that she, did y'all see what she did? She was in his fashion show, right?
Oh, somebody, hey, look. Comment here, and I don't know if the timing of it, but you just bring up Lauryn Hill. My question is, what does Lauryn Hill say about her daughter wearing the shirt?
Oh, yeah,
just came up from Fanya.
With it. Like, Lauryn Hill's daughter, not only did she wear the shirt, but she also went on this diatribe talking about, people trying to shut down free thinkers, and, Kanye needs to give a little bit more clarity to the message that we're putting out there. So she's obviously on board with this whole White Lives Matter thing, but they have not given any context at all to what their rationale is.
Oh, listen, that's spot on.
Well, thank you, sir.
That's spot on. So, and I saw those screenshots. Like, it's almost like she like, yo, yay. Like, all right, man, I don't know what's going on, but we need to go ahead and provide some context to our people, because I'm feeling like I'm getting hit from all angles. Like, fuck is your problem, Saleha, or whatever her name is? You Bob Marley's granddaughter, Slim. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing right now?
Now here's the thing.
Your mother, Lauryn Hill. What's going on right now?
Here's the backwash to what you're saying. Here's the backwash that we all got to understand. Do you guys remember when Kanye went on Swear in the Morning and was like, "Swear, you don't have the answers."
Of course.
Do you know how much Swear in the Morning show took off after that?
Absolutely.
But
do you understand that? Do you understand that we know that controversy sells? We know this, but we don't understand it. We know it, but we don't understand it. Do you remember, like you said, with the Magna, with all that, hanging with Trump and rolling with Trump? Then all of a sudden, he's dropping music. He's doing the pull-up church joints. Bro, it's all strategic, man. And when people sit and say this is his ingenious is to stay relevant, whether he's not relevant. And no matter what time, no matter who's hot in the industry, no matter who's hot in music, he's going to keep his name in the mouths of peoples across the world.
Absolutely. And if you go back, remember the Kanye documentary? I forget what it was called, but it was the brilliant documentary they did on Kanye West, whoever put it together. But one thing that I noticed about him through that documentary, the thing that I was left with from that documentary, was the fact that you could see that he got a burning thing inside of him where he wants to be seen and heard.
Yes.
When he's not comfortable being in the background. Jay-Z and him in the background.
He was not. Yes.
He's irrepressible. You will not keep Kanye West out of the limelight. That's the center of his personality.
Yo.
Oh man, you saw how he flipped on Obama when Obama called him a jackass and he wasn't getting any type of press with Obama? Oh, it was almost like out of spite he jumped on Trump's line because Obama didn't show him no love.
Yeah. And then you give a man like that, however many billions of dollars he has now, it just validates him, and it's just feeding the beast. He's gonna keep going.
Right.
But I was upset that Lauryn Hill's daughter, I don't know much about her, but I was upset that somebody in Lauryn Hill and Bob Marley's bloodline would be part of those shenanigans that Kanye West is getting them into. That was upsetting, man.
I hate to say, no matter how popular the bloodline, if Ye got something to do with it, it's something about the follow, bro. A book, a album, something's about the follow. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, no, I'm just speaking on the fact that Lauryn Hill's daughter, man, it's funny because like we said, man, I think a lot of the younger generation are looking at Kanye West as exhibit A in terms of how to use the internet, how to use their Twitter platforms, how to use their IG platforms. Kanye West is exhibit A. There's something outlandish and crazy. Boom, I need to say something outlandish and crazy. It worked for him, and
Tekashi 6ix9ine, and that's extreme, but essentially that's the same philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the same formula. Like, yo, I'm gonna play into this snitch moniker. I'm gonna play into this everybody hates me situation. Like they doing that's what Kanye does. I'm gonna do it too. Like nobody, like I ain't gonna say nobody, but those artists that are reaching for that, I think they genuinely cannot live without being in the limelight. Like it is so difficult for them to not be in the middle of like what's popping. Like him calling themselves all of these super dope artists, like I'm the so-and-so, I'm Steve Jobs, I'm this, like I'm Walt Disney, like what? You know what I mean? Like you and I'm not saying that you can't aspire for greatness in that magnitude. I get that. But when your thought process is by any means necessary to gain that stature, is where you start to see integrity, you start to see character issues, and that's what we're seeing with Kanye. Like, I ain't gonna never question that man on what his interests are, women, whatever, fashion, whatever, political, whatever. But when you start blatantly doing things to provoke our people for news media, news frenzy stuff that's as sensitive as our existence, right? That's as sensitive as, social justice or judicial equity, you know what I mean? Or equality, right? Like all of that, like you're willing to like play with that, puppeteer that, then I got problems, bro. I got problems with you puppeteering something as sensitive as that to our people. Like, look, I don't know every black. First of all, I'm not on the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm out here hustling on the corner every day, crack rocks in my socks and stash spots and all this other kind of stuff. Them youngins are living a different life. Kanye is 9 generations removed from that than I am. So while they dealing with police brutality, food deserts in neighborhoods, public housing and everything that comes to that, all of these challenges that they dealing with, stereotypes, all this, communities that are blighted in a way where you could never imagine, right? That's a plight Kanye does not live with. But you claim to be someone that speaks for the people.
Now, the only thing I'll say to all of this, right, and because I'd hate to put Kanye out there like he's on an island and that we have not had people exploiting situations in order to get famous. Because it ain't nothing new. What he's doing
it's nothing new under the sun.
Is nothing new that he's doing. I just don't like the fact that everybody is giving him so much life. I mean, you know how I feel about funny. I was just looking at Grandmaster Caz, and he was talking about hip hop, and he said that he thought gangster rap was extremely bad for hip hop. He thought that like the era that came NWA and after was bad for hip hop. So, and you know, I always say that. I always say, even if you love those artists, and the funny thing is, he said the same thing. And I always say, he said, because Vlad asked him about NWA, he said, well, what'd you think about NWA? He was like, well, NWA, phenomenal artists. And they were super innovative, but I still think it was bad for the culture. It was bad for the culture. It put out a level of negativity and held up a level of negativity that
glorified it.
That glorified, right? It glorified a certain kind of negativity, and it's still hurting us to this day. We're still seeing the residual effects to this day. And I believe that all of those artists in the 90s did that. So I think all of them are somewhat guilty of what we saying Kanye West is guilty of, which is taking a thing, glorifying that thing for the betterment of his career and his trajectory.
Selfishly speaking, yeah, I agree. I can't disagree with that. I mean, literally, record labels were looking for the most gangster rapper they could find. Like, how gangster can you be?
Well, guys,
you know, more gangster than this guy? Because if you are, I will sign you. You know what I mean? So guys' lyrics reflected that kind of that demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
and
to your point,
own these labels. White guys own these labels.
Yeah, but the sad part, guys, is the sad part. Like I'm a kind of come behind you or go before you, and I'm gonna say, well, the message was not glorifying, but telling a story about street tales. And only thing that happened in hip hop was that story evolved. As the streets evolved and the crime and the corruption evolved, the words, the imagery, and everything evolved. You know, crack came. They spoke about crack. You know,
crack was here in the 80s.
True.
The artists in the 80s wasn't glorifying crack.
Yeah, they wasn't. Spoke about crack in a way where it was hurting our people in the 80s. In the 90s, they talk about how they was getting money as crack dealers.
Exactly, right. And that's what I'm saying.
The evolution of gangsterism was that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm with you. You're right. But listen, we've gone from that to now. The evolution has further gone down the path of literal gang members are now at the forefront of rap. It's gone from everything we talk about to gang members in the forefront of rap.
But see, that's what happens when we let somebody else control our narrative. It started out like hip hop. The most pure era of hip hop was early hip hop.
Yes.
From probably the late 70s to the mid 80s was the most black run, black owned, black operated messaging that came out of hip hop. Now, when you're talking about artists like Public Enemy, X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Grand Poobah and Brand Nubian, you talking about these guys who were Ice Cube, who were raising a black fist,
right,
on a white record label's dime. They were like, no, this guy.
And that's why the
you know
music,
what's funny?
that music now is not well received. We saw Joey Badass at that hip hop BET Awards. He gave some intriguing shit. He had artists on stage that all died, and it felt like the crowd was almost drained, like they were waiting for him to get off to get back to the
bull.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's real, and that's what it's so funny you say that because, I like Joey Badass, but what I like more than anything about Joey Badass is that he's an anomaly as a New York artist right now.
Yes.
New York artists in this generation aren't doing what he's doing. So I respect him for that. That's why I know he had the features he had. I'm like, yo, guys, fuck with Joey. Joey really a conscious rapper. In a generation and a time where at his age from New York, it's drill rap. You know what I mean? He could easily be,
yes,
rap because he got the skills to coincide with drill, energy.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I always ride with these younger artists that I can tell study something from the past, just something.
You heard the boy G Herbo said he wanted to do some stuff with Benny the Butcher and Conway, right? He's like, yo, they at the top of the rap game. Like that's if you respect hip hop. So I feel like we're turning a page. You know what I mean? Like Corday is a young rapper that's bringing back conscious rap. Joey Badass is another one. And you say what you say about Kendrick. Kendrick is a super conscious rapper. You know what I mean? Like he's wearing this. He's a Gemini through and through. He's gonna wear the emotions on the sleeve, tell you how he feel. You know what I mean? Just like Kanye. But there's a fundamental difference between him and Kanye. Kendrick's not out here publicly seeking out attention. He really goes into hibernation on some shit. He comes out with the wow factor, the provocation, and I'm moving you with my music.
Did y'all see? Circling back to Diddy, it's funny that I'm about to say this, but did y'all see? Because I thought I saw something that was real interesting. Diddy came out the other day and made a passionate plea for New York artists to stop trying to act like they was from somewhere. And I
saw that.
I love that. Like
I saw that.
I've always felt like New York in America is the biggest hub of creativity in terms of financial, from the artistic market, the poetic market, the music market, hip hop, for any form of music. Like New York is the biggest hub of creativity in the country. And for the biggest hub of creativity in the country, for the artists who grow up in that and see that, to act like, to make the same music that somebody from the cornfields of Mississippi is making is crazy. It's absolutely crazy to grow up in New York City and see everything that you see on a daily basis, but your music sounds just like somebody who grew up in the backwoods of Tennessee.
And listen, it's funny you say that.
That's not to diss nobody from
the backwoods.
Yeah, but New York is so complicated and so dynamic that I think those artists are really dumbing themselves down on a level that's almost unforgivable.
So let me say this. Hold on, boy. Let me say this, boy. So, I don't disagree with that. What I will say is this, though. What has New York done for those artists that have paved the way for so many artists? Right? So when Puffy says, why New York got to be this way, he's played a hand in why New York is the way it's this way. He is single-handedly responsible for the shift in the sound of hip hop himself.
What shift? What shift you talking?
From golden era to shiny suits.
To disco.
He went from golden era to shiny suits. So he's played a hand in hip hop can be transformative, right? The transformation wasn't. Hold on 1 second. The transformation wasn't rooted in creative art. The transformation was rooted in this shit sells. So that's what New York is today. This shit sells, and that's what I'm gonna do.
He ain't the first to do that.
Before him, who did it then?
Wait.
Answer that question.
Let me finish. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. So the thing I will say about Diddy is everything that he did, it was still hip hop.
It was. But by the way, Jadakiss went on a note and said he fucking hated writing those goddamn songs for Diddy because it didn't fit his image and he didn't like where it was going. He said he couldn't stand that shit and he wanted out, man. It's funny you said that shit, Steve.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, he's a hypocrite. Puff Daddy is the epitome of of hypocrisy. The
I'm not
epitome.
gonna argue that, but I still think that the stuff that Diddy was doing was still good hip hop. That's all.
I mean,
a lot of it was.
so
A
let's say
lot
it was
of
good
it
hip hop.
was.
I think what Puffy was doing was good music. But when we talk about authenticity in hip hop, he was stretching the genre with his music, in my opinion. He was stretching the genre as thin as it could get with what he wanted to do from a hip hop standpoint. He was stretching it.
See, I don't feel
Let's
like that.
Let's think about the artist. Hold on.
I disagree. I respectfully
Think about the artist.
disagree. I respectfully disagree with that.
When
I mean,
I get it. But me personally and respectfully, I feel like these younger artists from New York, they're only doing what they've been taught. This isn't some alienated grandstand from like, we revolting against what New York hip hop has traditionally been. No, this has been a metamorphosis going into this shit. This is what hip hop has become in New York.
I remember.
Nobody in New York was holding it down for traditional New York. What happened?
I remember. I'm a quote guy, y'all. Y'all know I'm a quote guy. I remember Cameron saying, "Yo, when the hell we start bouncing?" It resonated. When the hell we start bouncing? We lyrics, we beats.
Yo, but the thing is, hip hop was bouncing before Cameron was born.
I'm just saying the bounce from down south. The bounce from down south wasn't in New York.
But what's wrong with that though, y'all? What's wrong with the bounce from? Here's my thing.
You talking about? Hold on, wait. You talking about a down south bounce? Because what I'm talking about is because if you're looking at Diddy, see the thing is, I look at it different because I'm looking at hip hop pre Dusty Timms and Smoking Sherm and Dust rappers. I look at it when everything was bright. When everything was bright in hip hop, like in the early, everything was bright. Diddy just really was a return to that era.
With disco.
Diddy, no. I'm talking about Grandmaster Flash. I'm talking about Sugar Hill Gang. Yeah. I'm talking about all that. Diddy, that music was not much different than the music that Diddy was doing.
You're right.
Okay.
A lot of recreated beats.
But listen, historically speaking, how disappointed are the stewards of hip hop, pioneers of hip hop, of the Sugar Hill Gang's success?
But you just pulled that one out. I'm talking about
you said Sugar Hill Gang.
I'm talking about the Furious Five. I'm talking about the Treacherous Three. All of these groups, Melly Mel, like all of these groups were making that same kind of music at one point.
I know that they were
music.
They were, and that was a sound then. What I'm saying is, again, and this is Diddy's genius. He realized, like, I can just remix and do this and duplicate and do that, and I find success, and I'll continue to be successful doing it. But it was still transformative from where it was. Hip hop was showing how it could be genre bending and transformative in a way to where it was like, oh man, we went from that to being conscious, to being pro-black, from being this to being Diddy, to being this is now the hip hop. Once he was able to monopolize and capitalize on it being commercial and being, I'm gonna get you away from where hip hop is going. White label owners loved it. Oh yeah, this is taking the attention totally away from Queen Latifah with UNITY.
No.
Black mind from way left.
No, like when you look at that, I think you got a lot of groups. You can't just put that on Diddy, bro. Like,
no,
I'm just saying. I'm not putting it on Diddy. I'm just saying when you bring up how Diddy is saying he's the one that's saying, hey, hip hop, New York ain't doing this and that. I'm like, yo, you the last person
I get what you're saying, Steve. I get what you're saying.
You're the last person that's talking about.
Hey, what about the guy Academics, man? Talking about dusty old school rappers, yo. What's good with that guy, man?
Now it's a lane for coons like him. Like what he's saying is like important. Like what he's saying is something you wanna know or hear about. What mixtape or sets as a DJ has he done?
He's a bozo.
What has he done?
Bozo.
what has academics done as a hip hop, from a hip hop contribution standpoint? What has he done?
Not one goddamn thing.
How is he? Like, I'm serious.
But you know what he did? You know what he did, guys? He was an algorithm master.
Yeah, he's another Kanye protege with playing and manipulating that algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Did y'all see MC? You see MC Shane go at him?
Man, Shane,
rightfully so.
You got now. I like how Shane did it because Shane was just disrespectful. He was very
LL was respectful. Shane was bitch ass nigga. You know what I mean? He was
I like that better. I like that better. Because I mean, do we even got to talk about that? I don't even think. See, that's what I mean about giving stuff life that don't need life. Like, I just don't think he need, like, what he's saying is ridiculous. I don't think anybody who got half a brain even really should worry about what he's saying about old school. But because it's been said before. I mean, it's been said before, and it just is so ridiculous that I don't even know why we give it life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me find out. Brandon be goggling his bourbon like his mouthwash.
I like
he gave you the profile when he did that just now.
Listen, they said sometimes when you like washed, you taste the bourbon better. That's something that you bourbon boys should know.
Got a little bit of Listerine in there. What you had in it?
You know, he try all kind of shit as content.
He mixing his bourbon with everything.
Be like, yo, I put actual peanut butter in there last time, yo.
Just a little Basil Hayden, man. Little Basil Hayden with some peach, simply orange peach lemonade. Yeah, man.
Hit the spot.
Yeah.
But act a clown, man. I wish it was back in the day though when you would get beat down for saying stuff.
Yo.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying out to myself. I was like, yo, I wouldn't be mad if somebody slapped him upside his head for talking crazy like that. Like,
remember when the guy PM Don was talking a little crazy, like KRS-One ain't no teacher. Man, that boy PM Don had a show. KRS-One showed up and PM Don was missing for some days.
See, that's what I'm saying. Academic stay in hiding. He ain't nowhere seen where the scene is hip hop, or else he, you know. First of all, let's keep it a buck. Anybody that came on that show when it was him and Joe Budden, they was going at academic, man. They constantly was under pressure on his own show.
Yeah, he was.
That's the truth.
Wow. He's
constantly under pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, fellas. The crazy thing about that though is if the rappers right now, this is the problem with black people and us not connecting our dots and connecting our history. But anybody, you could look this up. And I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna find the exact numbers. But the reason why hip hop is the number one form of music in the world right now, because it wasn't the number one form of music in the world until about maybe 7-8 years ago. I forget the exact year that it became.
You sure, man? You sure it wasn't longer than that?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the number one selling genre of music, number one most popular selling genre of music until recent history. But the reason that is because of the contributions of the dusty artists that he's talking about.
Right.
When you really think about it, starting with Run DMC, and not to discredit anybody before Run DMC because they all had their part, but Run DMC was the first group really to stretch the boundaries of hip hop really out of the United States
with the rock and roll and the Adidas,
And then you talking about the genius of the music that came out from that era of hip hop to Nas and Biggie's genius, to Tupac's genius, to Dr. Dre's genius, to Kanye's genius, and now the snowball rolls, and now the music is the biggest form of music in the world, but it takes a while for it to catch up. By the time it catches up, all of the people who made that happen are out of the game. Yeah. So now the beneficiaries of it are your Futures, or your Drakes, or your city girl. They're the beneficiaries of the work
Yes.
that all
Yes.
they
Yes.
did. But you know what's going to happen? If the music stays garbage and stale and whack, it's going to go back down and it's not going to be the most popular.
You know what I think? I think we're going to get a renaissance of the older artists coming back making music, and it's going to be respected again. That's what I think. Yeah, it's a renaissance.
G Herbo is a young guy in a generation of trash music who's looking forward to recording tracks with Benny the Butcher and Conway the Machine. It's happening now. The renaissance you're referring to, the resurgence of hip hop, is happening now because guess what? It's what's going to save it. It's what's going to save it.
Listen, one thing I hate in this game right now is how hip hop artists can be 40, 41, 42, 43, and they're considered old and washed up. Whereas though rock and roll and other genres of music, that's when they did the height of their career, selling out stadiums. Why is it that in hip hop, when you get older, you're no longer respected or
girl mentality, man?
This shit gotta stop, bro. This shit gotta stop.
Yeah, and I mean, hip hop is. I mean, I just think it's going to be different chambers opened up as we keep going. Like hip hop is still a very young form of music, so you never had artists who push the boundaries at a later age, like say Jay-Z or Nas is doing right now. So they are the Grateful Dead in hip hop right now.
Yeah,
they are literally that where they can. Yeah, they can sell out shows.
Busta Rhymes.
Kanye West, Busta Rhymes. Because Kanye, I mean, think about it. Kanye 40 plus. If he does a show 40 plus in 1988, your career was 10 years over. Kanye West is 40 plus and he's still as relevant right now as he ever been.
J50 plus.
Break.
J50 plus.
Exactly. Well, that's my point. So now it's a different day from 1988 where Big Daddy Kane get 5 years in the game and now he an old artist. Now you can have more longevity. I think it's just way more branches to the hip hop tree, so to speak, right now.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, that's 100% agree with that. Fellas, I want to just say we've been at this for about an hour now and great discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could do this shit all night. This is what we do every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But for the sake of time, you know what I mean?
We're going to piece them out, leave them with something to think about, leave them with something to think about, talk about.
Oh, say you can bring your red pen up. Brandon got the empty glass. Hey, for those who tuned in, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Listen, this shit is so much fun. You know what I mean? My brothers, man, we true to this, man. And we got so much more in store. And y'all want to say anything? Look, my boy, I just see my man. Oh, what's up, Cuddy? Glad to see you in here, bro.
Stay tuned, man. I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming up in the near future, man. We got new episodes popping. We got some events popping off. Please check us out on YouTube. We're going to be doing these lives a lot more often than we have been. But, we can always be found on our page on YouTube. Appreciate
IG, Facebook. Don't forget about the Whiskey Wash back in November.
Yeah, y'all come out, man. November 18th, Whiskey Wash back, Hamilton Hotel here in DC. That's gonna be crazy. Bull, y'all got November 11th, Diamond D move.
Yes, we got Diamond D coming to the city to spin for us. Listen, the tickets are about to go up for sale. The Eventbrite is up. I'm gonna put this information out there for everybody, man. Yeah, we're gonna rock off, man.
But we got something super special coming early December, though.
Oh yeah,
that's something gonna be something gonna be crazy, though, man. So let's piece them out, fellas. Bourbon Boys, we out, man.